Hey guys, as promised in the Cloudburst video, I'm here with the Eventide Blackhole, and I'm doing this by itself, and in a future video we'll compare the Blackhole versus the Strymon Cloudburst. But yeah, let's listen to the Eventide Blackhole today. And I have a new synth here. This is the Liven 8-bit Warps from Sonicware, and this thing's absolutely fantastic. This will probably get its own video. It sounds super cool. It's a 8-bit synth. It has that crunchy aliasing sound that you're used to from things like the NES or the Commodore's SID chip, and I think it's great. So, I guess let's get started. So here I have a pretty simple sound, and I should say, as always, this isn't a sponsored video. I bought all of this with my own money, and yeah, I just really like this synth. But yeah, so here. I hope you're listening to this on headphones or good speakers, but you should be able to hear the aliasing. Alright, so yeah, that's the dry signal. And we have some pads too we'll go into later, but here's the Blackhole. I have this set to one of the, what you see on the knobs right here is what it's going to be. Yeah, this is how I like it to sound. There's some modulation going on. We'll listen to that later, but here. Sounds gorgeous, doesn't it? Yeah, very similar to how good the Cloudburst sounds, but it's unique character. It's much darker in my opinion, even with the EQ controls at noon. So yeah, let's go over some of the unique things this can do. So I have modulation going in this, and the modulation can go crazy. I set the shift function. Shift function goes the second controls here. You see depth and rate. Now these are normally size and low when you don't have shift on, but in depth and rate. So let's turn up the depth for the modulation. You'll hear how crazy it goes. That's insane, but yeah, bring the depth back down to about where I like it. Actually, let's listen to the rate too, because this can go insane. That is completely unusable, but it can do that. And maybe somebody will find that entertaining. But yeah. So we'll turn the rate down to about here, the depth about here. Actually, let's hear it without any modulation at all. Kind of boring, just like the Cloudburst is without modulation, isn't it? So give that a go again. Lovely. All right, so since we're in the secondary mode here, let's listen to the delay or the pre-decay in other pedals. They just call it the delay. The pre-decay in this thing can go insane, kind of just like the Cloudburst. It can go up to like 2 seconds. It's insane. Listen to this. But here's the interesting thing. There's a feedback control. And this controls the feedback of both, I believe, the pre-decay and the reverb algorithm. So, yeah, so now you can hear it doing its thing. It's kind of cool. Yeah, kind of useful if you really want to shape your sound. So we'll turn the feedback to here, and we'll turn the pre-decay off, or pre-delay, or whatever you want to call it. Just delay. So it's instantaneous, and we'll go to another one of the secondary controls on the feedback knob here. You see Q, and of course, if you're a synth person, you know Q is resonance. So we're going to turn this way up, and this is going to sound neato. So the Q or resonance is turned up, but you won't hear anything because technically, even though these are not showing it, these are set at noon. So yeah, they're set to about here in this mode that I have going. But if I change the filtering, you can hear resonance. So we're going to keep it there for it to go through the resonance sweep. So yeah, that's really cool. Can even do that here. You can hear those extra harmonics and everything added by the resonance. So that's pretty cool. The Strymon, what is it? The Night Sky. Well, I was drawing a blank there, but the Strymon Night Sky also has resonance as one of its secondary functions. But here, we'll go ahead and let me shift and go to 0 resonance here, and let's go back to noon on these controls, and then we're gonna look at the gravity knob. So the EQ is super powerful. Yeah, I see some clipping on my mixer there. So yeah, really, really great. But here, what we want to listen to, let's turn up the feedback again. I like to have the feedback pretty high. And we're going to listen to the gravity. So the gravity is what sets this apart from a lot of other large algorithms, like Cloud, for instance. You can go into extremely big bass here, a little less. And size controls this as well. We'll go into the size in a second. But here's the cool thing. We have negative gravity. So this almost gives you a reverse. Just as an aside, I'm using my Launchpad Pro here with the Liven 8-bit warps. The controls aren't that awful. Oops. Let's go into the scale I'm using, but yeah, they're a little squishy compared to this. I mean, these are 2, but I think these are more responsive, so yeah, you can do MIDI in. It has MIDI out as well, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so yeah, that's the negative gravity. So gravity acts as like your decay for the algorithm, but it also plays into the feedback and size. So I can make a really, really tiny room with the size being all the way down. Turn the feedback off as well. In forward feedback, forward gravity, you can hear that a little better. So, small room. Big room. I think that's super versatile. It's insanely versatile for what this thing can do. So, yeah, and oh, that's really cool. You could potentially use MIDI control over a TRS or like a expression ramper or something, and you could like do cool expression ramping on the sides. So you could do like here. Go from a small room to a big room. Yeah, so super versatile in that. It's an amazing pedal, like especially for what it is. A single algorithm that can pull off so much. And the feedback can go from very, very long to infinite, so to a freeze. So now it's frozen. But when it's frozen, you can't add any more to it. And there's another way you can do that. So if I really want to, I can keep my feedback around here, so I can keep adding to it, but it's not infinite, nor is it frozen. And I can press the freeze button. The only problem with this, unlike something like the night sky, I can't just keep adding to it. It's just frozen. But yeah, so cool, very versatile, extremely versatile, especially for the price point. Should mention that these are $250 right now. I think that's where Eventide has like got its pricing right, with especially with what it can do. I honestly think that Blackhole is probably one of the most versatile algorithms that exists. It's the only reason I really have a space. I mean, yeah, the shimmer is great on the Eventide space, but the Blackhole is what you get a space for, and now it's in its own pedal. So yeah, I just keep kind of playing because it's just so fun to listen to. And you see the dig here, and the reason I have the dig here is because it's it has a 12-bit mode. Gonna pair it with an 8-bit synth here with a lot of aliasing, so I think it sounds awesome. Let's hear this. I love having a delay always with a reverb, like in almost all cases, but here, so dry. I already have this set to the where I kind of want it. Using that lovely 12-bit mode, it has a little bit of compression and companding going. And if I activate the Blackhole now, absolutely gorgeous. Even though this sums to mono, at least I believe it does. I when I was testing, let's listen to that. Let's go. Okay, I have this set to ping pong. Let's make it a little more evident. Yeah, that's great. So you should hear extreme channel separation with distinctive right and left. This adds its own stereo image. So if I turn this to fully wet, that's what it is without a delay. Yeah, it's the same stereo image, so unfortunately, just like the cloudburst, that this sums to mono. But when you add the dry signal back in, even though this is ping pong and it's summing to mono for the reverb, the wet signal, it sounds awesome because what you're doing is you have that beautiful reverb in the center, then spread out to a artificial stereo spread that the Blackhole is doing by itself, and you still have the ping pong happening from the dig. I'm going to one last time here. We're just going to hear one note and see how the sustain is with the settings that are here. So. That modulation is gorgeous. So yeah, so that's really what the Blackhole sounds like. Let's listen to one last thing before I wrap this up. Let's go here, and we're going to use a pad I made here. This uses the FM engine on the Liven, and it has some randomness going, so... You can hear the waveform randomly changing as I retrigger. So let's activate. And that's some beautiful ambience you have going with the Blackhole, and that's the Blackhole by itself. Now let's add the dig into that again with its light modulation. Let's increase the time a little, or let's increase the time a lot. Let's go up to the full maximum that the dig can do. The second delay is set in golden ratio. And that is amazing. And that's why I feel that the Eventide Blackhole in a box like this, just where it's the singular algorithm, is just so amazing. It does so much in so little space, and it's really accessible. There's no menu diving or anything like that. It's all out in front. You don't have to remember like different controls like you would on the Eventide Space, for example. And yeah, I for ambient music, it's absolutely fantastic. Again, like the Cloudburst, I don't recommend it for short, small space reverbs. I think it's like excellent for large open spaces. Obviously, it's kind of what it's designed to do. Yeah, I can't really say anything bad about it. The price point is fantastic. It's a well-built pedal, and as you could hear from the demo, it sounds absolutely just great. Especially with really aliased sounds going into it, it just smooths them out so well. And yeah, it takes a stereo signal in. It sums to mono, unfortunately, for the wet signal, but as you could hear with the dig, it doesn't really matter all that much because it just sounds fantastic when you mix the two signals together. It keeps stereo through on the dry, and yeah. Supports line level on the input for sure. It has a control in the back. You do need a TRS splitter again for the input. Unlike the Cloudburst, it does have stereo out directly, so you don't need two TRS splitters if you're running a stereo rig. And it does take a fully mono signal in, and yeah, creates that beautiful stereo image. The Liven's going in completely mono here, and when this is bypassed, it's kind of just a mono signal anyway, so yeah. Off. Now, some people will be asking what I prefer, and I don't, over the Blackhole versus the Cloudburst. We'll have that demonstration where we pit both of them together, and I don't really have a favorite. They're both absolutely my favorite when it comes to big ambient reverbs. They're both great. This doesn't have the ensemble feature of the Cloudburst, but it does have that reverse gravity mode, which is just that's just something special. It even sounds cool in a pad. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching.